All right, we can move on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So kind of in the same vein, though, some folks are asking, do you think that infighting among the left weakens the left?
Yeah.
And do we consider this infighting?
No.
This is constructive. This is constructive. We all
First
love
of
each other.
all,
Come on.
can we fundamentally defend us? I think we are the only show like this with this many leftist content creators of different whatever in and of itself. We every Thursday convene and be good and nice and discuss our ranging of views. I think we are already leading the pack when it comes to no, we believe there should be no like infighting and blah blah blah. That's why we were saying you see all this bail we've been shooting, lone bail. We stay away from it. No, we do. We've talked about it like the whole first 3 episodes of the show. We were like, we don't believe.
I want to know though, like what is infighting? What constitutes infighting? If this discussion about what's happening, this discussion with Anna wasn't infight, like what is infighting?
I think like Madeleine Albright is in like if you're going too far. If it's like, hey, you should criticize a take because you think it's transphobic, don't criticize a take because it's like, hey, you interviewed Madeleine like Albright years ago. Then you're creating infighting, in my opinion. You're not actually like criticizing a fellow content creator.
So that's just bad faith critique then, as opposed to.
That's true.
You're right. This is more sophisticated than we thought. Okay.
We didn't tell anyone to like stop listening to TYT or don't follow Anna anymore.
Yeah.
No, we were just discussing an issue that happened, and that's it. I mean, I don't see.
Yeah, there's a key difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Like to my knowledge, all of us are trying to get Anna to understand why there is so much backlash to that response. We're not trying to like cancel her. See, this is why the Young Turks is fucking terrible. Like that's not what we're trying to do, obviously. And we're gonna have these disagreements. Like go back a couple of years, you see me and Kyle Kalinske going back and forth arguing. We even had like DM arguments. Now we're like, I mean, Kyle's always been my brother. He just hit 1 million today. Shout out to him. But like, we have to have these conversations on the left. The left is not monolithic. Some of us are at different like levels in terms of where we're at with regard to specific knowledge. We have to have these conversations, otherwise we can't grow. So you can understand that sometimes left fighting might look like that's what's happening, or this might look like infighting, but I feel like this is actually constructive. We've got to hash this out. Like you can't just allow people in our own community to say things that I think are really deeply hurtful and harmful and go unchecked. This is what we're here for. Call me out when I fuck up. We'll call you out when you fuck up too. It's just like, this is what we're supposed to do.
It's a microcosm of like society too, right? Like that's what you should do amongst your friends,
right,
your family, all that kind of stuff, right? It's healthy. If anyone here actually hangs out with other people IRL, where you're like trying to do like, knock on doors, activism, direct stuff, like everyone disagrees with each other, but you're still on the same pathway. We're all we're all together in this, right? Shit.
And people respect it when you do it like the nice way. Like how I even first did my TYT interview was because, and Anna said it on the interview, it was like when they were getting dogpiled on about abolition. I think it was like Chang's tweets and stuff like that. Anna was like, I was one of the only people who was like nice to her and how I addressed it in like a helpful way. So I think like, constructive, there's a way, you know what I mean? Constructive criticism and talk to that person. Like people will come to you, they will whatever. It's when I do think there is a lot of infighting on the left that is unhelpful. I've said that. I think that, I mean,
those people aren't on the left though. Like that's what.
That's true. I agree with that. The problem is, in the pseudo leftist town square on the internet, they are considered as such, and people decide
someone like fucking Jimmy Dore, who's like obviously right. He had David Sachs on his fucking show last week. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, so when he's like, I'm the farthest left, like, fuck off. Like, you're paid by the right. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
do not trust anyone who uses that, like, as a title. I am the most left of all leftism. I am the wokest of all woke. Like, what the fuck is no, do not trust. Red flag.
Point being, there cannot act, like, there is no real infighting. Infighting does not exist, because if you are engaging in those bad faith attacks for clicks, then you're not on the left. You're just a piece of shit, and you're doing shit for clicks. Like, so there is infighting is
that's true. See, I believe you in reality. Like I believe that's true. However, the appearance of who people consider of that, you know what I mean? Who they consider their leftist voices, from the appearance of that, it looks like it's just a constant that spat, you know what I mean? It's a lot of that. I feel like even I would go as far as to say a lot of what I see from a lot of these people is just their whole commentating is just talking about what they think about what the other person said. You know what I mean? It's never just coming with it. I swear to God.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, yes, it's never. Like, it's never actually like, oh, here is what I care about. You know what I mean? Like, this is my platform. This is my agenda. This is what I am particularly, you know, an expert in discussing. And I'm, you know, building a philosophy. It's always like, such and you know. So I think the general answer to y'all's question, I think infighting is unhelpful, and it's always existed. I want to be clear. That's not new. You know, people will paint it like it's new, or it's the internet, or it's the left now. There has always been infighting. You can read Huey Newton's book, and he's throwing shade at Stokely Carmichael, and for a whole essay and shit. It's always been a thing. People always been fighting on all levels of whatever. So yeah.
And we're the left. It's what we do. Like there was some, I can't remember, I'm going to butcher it, but there was like this graph that was like the differences between, okay, the right and the left align because they both agree in guns and yada yada. And then it's like at the center, it was everyone hates leftists. Really, like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like even leftists hate leftists because that's what we do. We just shit on each other all the time. And
I've seen the crab meme.
Yeah,
that's fact. Yeah, I do think there is more unity on the right for sure, because of course there's unity in evil, because everything is acceptable when you honestly, if you can be absolutely evil, anything you do is acceptable. So why would you have been right? Like if you're trying to have like standard.
The entire right has this very like black and white understanding of what is and what isn't. You know, they have this very like I genuinely believe a lot of far right people see themselves as like superheroes, saviors,
liberators.
Yeah, you know,
main character syndrome.
Very main character, and they see themselves particularly as direct opposition to whatever isn't this very like
degeneracy, the downfall of society.
Right. Well, and also they have a very succinct and short-sighted, like myopic view of what that is, right? And so anyone that brings in a but, it's like, no. Like any idea of gray area at all completely deconstructs this very tiny viewpoint of life and about what happens in the world. And so they're like, I am an active, you know, I have to save the world from this, and they all have the same idea of whatever that is, but the left doesn't really have that. And by proxy of having a more nuanced take, it means everyone's on different parts of that nuance, whereas they're just very much so libs. You're killing millions of babies, and Jesus, you're taking God out of the schools, and that's bad. And then it's like y'all are all together. So
no, exactly, facts.